Hello everyone, welcome back to new video of SR Academy. And as you can see on screen, in this video we are going to talk about common mistakes that candidates make in an tech interview. Okay, so this video is about tech interviews in general, and it's not going to focus on DevOps interview or data engineering interviews. Okay, so if you are someone who is preparing or has a tech interview scheduled recently or in coming future, then this video is very important for you. Okay, so just watch this video till the very end to understand few small minute details that you can make and you can follow to go close to selection in your desired job role. Okay, so let's start with the video. First of all, why I am making this video. Okay, so recently I have interviewed multiple candidates in my current organization. Okay, and I have found certain small mistakes that candidates have made, which are avoidable for sure. Okay, so some of those mistakes have contributed to them getting rejected. Okay, and some others, though even though they have not contributed to the rejection, but I think that if they avoid that, it will increase their chances of selection. Okay, and as I have mentioned at the very beginning, this video is aimed for all the tech interviews in general, and my focus is not particularly on DevOps or data engineering interviews. And always remember, the aim of SR Academy, I won't say my aim, I would say the aim of SR Academy is to take you close towards your next job role, whichever you are trying to achieve. Okay, so all my videos, be it related to competitive exams or be it related to tech, all my videos are aimed at taking you closer to your goal, helping you clear your next interview or helping you clear your next exam. Okay, so that is the main aim of this video. So chapter 1. Okay, so I'm a big Dhurandhar fan now, so I'm trying to follow that uh, style of storytelling. So let me know in the comment section if you like this. If you like this, I'm gonna follow the same in my upcoming videos. Okay, I'm trying something different here, so let me know how you guys find it. Okay, chapter 1, the CV. Okay, the CV is your first impression that the interviewer is gonna see. Okay, and it decides whether you're gonna get a call or not. So understand this thing, that CV is very important. Do not take it lightly or do not ignore it. Okay, and it may also help to decide the flow of your interview. Okay, how, that I will tell you in coming slides. Okay, and the very important point that you need to follow for your CV is you need to mention only what you can explain. Okay, because what I have found is I have seen very impressive CVs having multiple large points, very big points, but when I have asked the candidates to explain in an interview, they have failed to do so. Okay, so this in turn creates a bad impression on the interviewer. Okay, the interview panel won't have confidence in your abilities. So only mention what you can explain end to end with 100% confidence, even though you have done 10 to 15 things in your company. Okay, it might be the case that you might have forgotten certain things in the past that you have done, so make sure you mention only what you can explain. So coming to telling you guys with an example, so on the screen you can see a CV that one of my friend sent to me for review. Okay, so as I provide CV resume review services as well, so she sent it to me, and you can see that the CV is less visually appealing. Okay, and even though if you don't consider this very important, so even though if you ignore it for now, it also lacks impact. Okay, how, let me tell you. If you can read, It says developed and maintained enterprise web application using Angular 21, blah 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 blah, and it has mentioned tech. Okay. Worked on a micro front end application. Okay. Everything, feature development, enhancements, and maintenance. Okay. So here, what she could have done is she could have mentioned, I have developed this using this, which has reduced or which has improved the team's productivity. Okay, which has improved the team's productivity. So this one small addition makes it impactful. Okay, so here she could have said that it improved productivity. Okay, so impacts can be measurable or immeasurable. So improving productivity is a kind of immeasurable impact, but it can play a significant role. Again, it says that I have worked on a micro front end application using this and this, and I have contributed to feature development, enhancement, and maintenance. She could have written, and in addition to this, it reduced manual effort by 30% or 40% or whatever. Okay, so writing is in our hands. Okay, how to explain this, that is a later game altogether. Okay, and also, so this is what I mean by impact. And also reader has to make an effort to find the match. So what do I mean by this is, so let's say I have an opening in my company where I need front-end developers that use React, okay, that use Angular, okay, and that use maybe CSS. So I'm not front end guy, I'm just giving some examples. Okay, and let's say I receive this CV which I have mentioned here. So I have to go through each and every line to see, okay, CSS is used, okay, Angular is used, okay, where is React? Do I find React? No, React is not mentioned anywhere. Okay, so understand this thing. The teams get hundreds of CVs for any job opening. The more you make their work easier, the higher is the chance of you crossing that first stage of getting a call. Okay, so the reader has to be able to see your highlights quickly. Okay, and how do you do that? So let me show an example of a CV that I created which resulted in me getting a call. Okay, so this is my CV. Here you can see that it is visually appealing. I have properly mentioned my professional experience and there is a bit of a color contrast which gives a visual border, a distinction between the above section and the below one. Okay, so these are minute user experience details. Then I have mentioned the tech in bold. So here you can see that the user can see, okay, I know Jenkins, I know GitLab directly, I know Kubernetes, okay, I know blue-green deployment, I know CloudFormation, I know Terraform, okay, I know AWS accounts, I know I am role VPC, okay, that means I am also well versed with AWS cloud. Okay, so here user can easily find the tech stack that I have worked on. And I've also mentioned the impact here that I have done cost optimization which has helped in 25% cost improvement. And again, I have done some automation which has done some 80% utilization alert. Okay, so I have mentioned impact. I have mentioned key points clearly visible. Okay, and one more, the most important thing, this can steer my interview direction. Okay, so if I go to again previous slide, the interviewer, the panel cannot see what are the highlights. Okay, and let's say they have multiple interviews scheduled and they want to wrap this up quickly. They don't know what to ask questions on, so they might ask you certain questions that they have decided. Okay, that might be the case, but in my case, okay, they know I know Jenkins, I know GitLab, so I can I can give a direction to my interview to go to Jenkins or to go to GitLab or to go to CloudFormation or to go to Kubernetes. Okay, because I have mentioned those in bold. Okay, so take this as an example and going forward know how to create a better CV, and also follow multiple CVs for multiple openings. Why I say that? Because JD for each and every opening is different. Some may need Jenkins, some may not. Some may need Kubernetes, some may not. Okay, some may need AWS, and in AWS specifically, they may need Lambda. Okay, so as the JD changes, your CV must also change. I have mentioned this point in my previous videos where I have shared with you my interview experience for Barclays and Mastercard and Siemens. Okay, so there I also have mentioned that I used to modify CV based on the job description. So let's say tomorrow I have a JD, I have a opening for some other company where they expect Lambda for as a main service. Then what will happen? This point will move up. I will move this point up, and let's say they don't have Jenkins, then I will remove this point completely. Okay, because it is not at all required. Okay, maybe I have worked something else on Lambda, I will put that above. I will remove this point and I will put some other Lambda point that I have worked on. Okay, so remember, in your entire experience of how many years you work on multiple things, right? So you just need to highlight particular things that are required for the job description. Okay, so I have surely worked on things more than what I have mentioned here. Okay, so whatever I have mentioned here, I have surely worked more on more things, but it doesn't make sense. Okay, I have also worked on certain other lambdas or SSM parameter automation. Okay, but this particular job description did not want that in particular, so I didn't mention it. Okay, keep the CV short, keep it very precise to the job description, and make sure whatever the job description is asking, that should be on top. In this case, they wanted Jenkins, they wanted blue green deployment, so I've put this point from below to up. If I share some other CV with you, you will find this point below, or you won't find this point at all, because they don't want blue green deployment experience. Okay, a very minute detail, but it can change your chances of getting a call by a good amount of what you can say probability or anything. Okay, so you can follow this. And from where did I create this template? I used Canva, and the Canva has multiple free templates for CVs or resumes. Okay, so this is, I have shown you with example, like how a CV should not be, in my opinion. Okay, sometimes this may work, but as I said, my aim is to improve your chances as much as possible. So I don't think this works, and in my experience, I have used this CV and I have got call for various openings at various companies. Okay, so use this format, and you can use Canva to make this. Just make sure you highlight the tech stack and you highlight the impact. Okay, so this was regarding chapter 1, the CV. Now let's move to chapter 2, the introduction. Okay, so let's say you upload a CV for a job opening and you get a call for the first round. So when an interview is scheduled, and when you join that interview, you see the interview panel, the very first thing that would happen is most probably the panel will give you their introduction. They will give you the introduction of the opening, and then they will ask you to introduce yourself. Okay, what I have observed in my interviews that I took is the candidates explain everything whatever is mentioned in their CV from start till end. Okay, but what you forget is the panel already has your CV. Okay, so before joining the call, we have already read your CV and we know what you have done. So this opportunity to introduce yourself is kind of an icebreaker that that just relaxes the the environment a bit. Okay, so you have to make sure that you keep it short and crisp. Okay, max 1 to 2 minutes, 1.5 to 2 minutes. Okay, and do not mention everything. Like, let's say you have 8 years of experience and you have changed 2 to 3 companies. So you don't say that, okay, in my first company I did this and this, in my second I did this and this, and in my third I did this and this. No. Okay, what you can say instead is, I will show you with an example. So don't do this. Why? Because there is a high chance that the panel is busy in something else. Why? So when a call is scheduled at 3 and you have a panel of 2 to 3 members, so understand that when you join this interview or call, so the panel has to do certain entries when you join. Okay, so let's say they ask you to introduce yourself and they are busy checking your CV again, or they are busy filling in some Excel sheet that HR team has asked them to do, or they are filling in, or they're busy in pulling some other team member who has forgot about the interview into the call. Okay, there's a high chance the panel is busy with this. So mostly they won't be listening to what you are introducing about yourself. Okay, and mostly they have already decided what to test you on. Okay, so they have seen your CV, they know what the job description asks. So most probably they have already decided what to test you on. Okay, so there's no point in explaining everything that you have written on your CV from the scratch again. In my interviews, I have seen candidates taking almost 4 to 5 minutes just to introduce themselves, which is not at all required. Even I used to think that, come on, man, finish early. We have to take multiple interviews and we have to proceed and we have to wrap this up within 1 hour. Okay, so mostly panel gets 1 hour. They have to ask you some questions in depth, they have to ask you multiple scenarios. So let's just finish introduction quickly. Okay, and how to create a short and crisp introduction? Use ChatGPT. Okay, as simple as that. You have tools at your disposal, just know how to use them smartly. How to do it? How I used to do it in my while my interviews, I will tell you. So let's go to the next slide, and here you can see I have given a nice prompt to ChatGPT that, hey ChatGPT, I have interview scheduled for Mastercard. I have this. I for DevOps engineer for 5 to 8 years of experience. I'm currently working as DevOps engineer. I have 6 years of experience. I have helped my team with this, and I look after this. I've also worked on this and this and this. At the very end, please give me a crisp, ignore the typo, please give me a crisp 1 to 1.5 minute, sorry, introduction for the panel, which will emphasize my fitness for the role. Okay, and here the ChatGPT will give me. Okay, so this is just for some reference. You don't have to follow it exactly. Just take it as an example and refine it as per your job opening, as per your job description and your experience. Okay, whatever you get it, you refine the output and you keep practicing. Make sure you take the output, okay, with whatever is given, and you practice it, because that is very important. If you just look at it, then when the panel will ask you to introduce yourself, you will forget. So take the output, if possible write it down somewhere, and practice. Just practice again and again and again until you by heart it. Okay, so this is regarding the introduction. Make sure you keep it short and crisp. Chapter 3, the details. I think this is the most important one for any interview. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Again, I will mention this point. Mention only what you can explain. Why? Because in interviews, I have seen candidates struggle with the points that they themselves have written. Okay, for example, I have seen very impressive resumes saying that they have written Jenkins CI/CD pipelines. Okay, and when I asked them to explain this pipeline, I don't know, they just stopped randomly in between. Or when I go in depth, let's say they say I have built a CI pipeline or I have built a CD pipeline, and I ask them that, okay, how did you manage AWS connectivity for CD? They had no answer. Or let's say I ask them how do they handle credentials in Jenkins? They don't have an answer. Okay, so please make sure that whatever you have written, you know it in depth. Okay, and just look at your CV once and think like an interviewer. How? I will show you. If you have not understood this, give me some time. In the next slide, I will tell you what to do. And whenever an interview is set, you get a call, Microsoft team call link, and there you can see who is going to take your interview. So research the panel if possible. Okay, so you can go on LinkedIn, search their name and see what designation they hold, and in their some introduction they will mention that this is the tech stack they have worked upon. So that will give you some fairly rough idea, like around what question or around what topic they may ask you the question. Okay, and whatever you have written in your CV, you while giving your answer you can try to correlate it with the JD. Okay, so let me give you an example. Again, this is my CV. Okay, so let's say I've mentioned that I have implemented Jenkins and GitLab CI pipelines for Java and Python. The bare minimum expectation that the interviewer would have for me is I should know my pipelines line by line, each and every stage. So let's say they tell me that, okay, you have implemented Jenkins pipeline, can you please explain it? I should be able to explain all the stages. I should be able to explain all the inputs. I should be able to explain all the outputs. Okay. If I struggle in any of this, there is highly likely a chance that I am rejected in that answer in that moment itself. Okay. Because again, as I said, there are a lot of interviews to be conducted, and the interviewers are mostly looking for a reason to reject you rather than a reason to select you. Okay. So we just want to give them less and less reasons to reject us. Okay, I should know everything. Okay, and as in my CV, just search for interview questions of the tech stack. What do I mean by that? So let's say I've mentioned Jenkins, Java, Maven, Python, Sonar, Veracode, CloudFormation, Kubernetes. Just go to Google and search for Jenkins interview question, GitLab interview question, CloudFormation interview questions. Same for Terraform, Kubernetes, YAML, Helm. Okay, I am VPC. Okay, I am VPC, then data sync. Okay, and then Lambda. Okay, and then just go through 3 levels for each and everything: beginner, medium, and advanced. So this is the bare minimum you should do, because how the interview direction goes, let me give an example. Let's say, okay, now let's come to some other point. Like I have created Kubernetes deployment services using YAML manifest file. So first question, can you explain what your application was doing? Okay, let's say I'm able to explain that. Then he may ask that, okay, in Kubernetes, what is a deployment file? What is a YAML manifest file? Can you write a YAML manifest file for so and so condition? Uh, like what is the architecture of Kubernetes? What is, so let's say, what is a managed Kubernetes service in AWS? Okay, so like this, the direction of interview can go. So when I said think like an interviewer here, so that is what I meant by that. Just take a topic and we just go to Google. Let's say you get some beginner questions. From that question, you may get some other question that you think might get asked. Then search for those. Then search for medium questions, search for advanced questions. Like in case of Kubernetes, they may ask you what is ingress controller, what is cluster IP, what is node port. Okay, so just from one word, Kubernetes, this many questions can get asked. Okay, so that is how you have to start thinking going forward. Same if I take the example of EPC setup. Sorry. Okay, so in case of EPC, again, from VPC they may ask you what is a VPC, what is a subnet, then what is a security group, what is a NACL, what is a NAT gateway. what is an internet gateway, what is a CIDR. Okay, so you see, just one word VPC and this many questions can get asked. So you should be ready with answers for these questions. Okay, you just cannot think that okay, I have mentioned that I have configured VPC, then they will ask me just about VPC. No, from VPC the answer can go to the, the question can go to subnet. Once you explain subnet and you somehow mention some security or something, they will go to security group. Okay, they will go to a NAT gateway, they can go to internet gateway, they can go to CIDR, then again from CIDR the direction can go to EC2. Okay, so that's how the flow can go. So be ready with all the scenarios in your mind before you appear for the interview, and then you should be able to explain the impact and the need for any solution. So let's say I have mentioned that I have done cost optimization and reduced the cost by 25%. So they may ask, what was the metric? So how did you measure that the cost was reduced by 25%? Where did you see it? So you can say that I have seen it in AWS cost management or billing management. Okay, then what did you do? So if you say I have used required sizes in non-prod environments, then how did you analyze this? What was the, like, did you have any dashboard to see what size is required, or did you work in along with the application team to discuss on required sizes? So just this is what I am trying to convey, that this is how you explain an impact, and then you should be able to explain the need for any solution. So let's say I have said that I have worked on AWS service quota monitoring and alerting solution. Then why this was used, why you use Jenkins, why did not something like AWS SNS? Okay, why Lambda? Why not EC2 instance, like a Python code on EC2? So this is how the questions will get asked, and this is how you should be able to explain that why I used Jenkins and why I used Lambda. Okay, so this is how you should think like an interviewer, and this is all the points that from this CV you can ask or you can get asked. Okay, again, in your CV you should mention a separate technical skills section, and just make sure whatever you have mentioned you know everything, or at least few in depth. So let's say I have a job description. Again, I have said that go deep for few, rest you can like survive with basics, and job description will decide what is important for that particular interview. So let's say you have one opening that says that okay, we need someone with expertise in networking in AWS. Okay, if the JD says this, then for sure in your tech stack you should include VPC. Okay, you should include SG, you should include NAT gateway, internet gateway. Okay, and having said that, just research interview questions for VPC at advanced level. Okay, because that is what is expected in advanced questions for security group, NAT gateway, and others you can just go with basics like S3 basic questions, Lambda basic questions. Okay, so this is just an example, this is how you can handle. And let's say uh, the job description says that ISC tool cloud formation is the main and Terraform is secondary. Okay, in their job description, again you can focus on AWS cloud formation, just Google advanced interview questions and some basics for Terraform and YAML. Okay, so this is how you should uh, prepare for your technical skill section, and make sure that again you just go through the JD, you match it with your technical skills section, and you just prepare in depth for the services that are expected. Chapter 4 and the final chapter, the game. Okay, I have always considered the tech interviews as the game where you just, I think that you just need to cut off. Again, as I said, the interviewers will look for more chances to reject you rather than the chances to select you. So just minimize the chances you give them to reject you. Okay, tech interviews, tech interviews are a game. You just need to clear cutoff at each round. Okay, once you clear that cutoff, you are through. And they don't expect you to know everything. So even though you don't know anything, just be humble and admit that you don't know or you don't remember at the moment. Okay, and you never know, interviewer might also be googling the questions, because what happens, let's say you have an interview panel of 3 members and two of those back out at the last moment due to some other urgent office work. What happens is they will pull in some other 2 members, and it might be a case that they don't know in depth what the JD asks, so they will also Google interview questions. Like in one of my case, I was just asked to I was pulled in an interview at the very last moment, so I just went on Google and I searched for some basic DevOps interview questions. Okay, so there might be a case that the interviewer might also be doing that. That's why Googling basic, medium, and advanced interview questions is important. Again, work on your communication skills. Your answers, like the panel should be able to understand your answers, and if you're not able to understand the question that they have asked, you should be able to communicate it. Okay, a minor miscommunication can make the panel feel that you are not like answering properly, or you are not considering all the scenarios that experienced engineers should consider. Okay, so work on this. Again, for this you can work on your introduction. Just take help from ChatGPT, write it down and practice it multiple times. And tech interviews are a loop where you appear, you fail, you improve, and you repeat until you succeed. I have failed, like when I started for a job change, I was doing it after almost 8 to 9 years. I had no experience of interviews. So I started with one, and obviously I failed in the first one. Then again, I understood my shortcomings, I improved on those, and I again appeared for other interviews. Okay, until I was able to crack few of them. So follow this loop. Just don't be afraid to appear. Okay, even though you have not given interviews for a long time, just apply, and just if you get a call, just go for it. Okay, don't be afraid to fail. Just appear, fail, improve, and repeat until you succeed. And even though you do what I have mentioned in this video, and you get a call, you give just best introduction of your life, you give best answers, and even though you're not selected, just remember, sometimes it's just not your day. Luck also plays an important factor in any tech interview. So don't get disheartened. Again, improve what you can and then repeat the cycle again. Okay, so this was it, guys. I have so when I was taking interviews in my current organization, I saw the mistakes that candidate made, and I felt that I should share this with all my subscriber base, because I have also been getting very various queries on my Telegram channel. My Telegram channel has been quite active lately, and thank you all for that. So you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to it. You have not joined my Telegram channel, just join it. I have been posting various updates there as well. So I have been getting various queries on my Telegram channel where people have been asking me about, CV, resume updates, and various interview, expected interview questions, and I have been trying to help them however and whichever way possible. Okay, so this was my honest attempt to tell you guys what mistakes to avoid, and I hope this video helps you, and it like as I said, it takes you closer to your dream job or dream interview that you are preparing for. Okay, and as I said, if in any point of time you think that you need help with resume review or interview preparation or anything related to tech in general, you know where to reach out to me. Again, I am repeating, you can reach out to me at SR Academy. Just go to Telegram, search for SR Academy Pune. I will give the Telegram channel link in the description. Just go there and select an message to admin. Okay, and then our team will try to help you in whichever way possible. Just reach out to us on Telegram. Okay guys, and all these services that me and my team provides you is free of cost, and we are also multilingual team. We can help, so let's say language is not a barrier. We can help you in English. हिंदी में भी हम आपकी सहायता कर सकते हैं आणि मला मराठी पण येते. So just don't be afraid that a language would be a barrier. Just feel free to reach out to me on Telegram. Okay guys, so I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you get to learn a thing or two from this video. If you are learning something, please subscribe to my channel. When I started this SR Academy channel, my aim was to help just one person in my life, but I've ended up helping 10 and 12 of them, and slowly and steadily I have reached to 32 subscriber count thanks to you all. So if you're new to this channel, if you're seeing this video for the first time, please subscribe to my channel. It gives me motivation to come up with new topics, new videos. And if you think this video will help any of your friend that is preparing for interview, please share this video with them as well. So see you guys in next video. All the best for your tech interviews, and see you soon. Bye.